Hi everybody, we're up here at the Oregon Mountains just east of Las Cruces, and we came up today just to have a picnic. And I'm cooking lunch on this Coleman stove, and it works well for us. It's not exactly that portable, but it works well. And we're going to be having hot dogs today, and we're going to garnish them with ketchup and mustard. I like this particular hot dog. It's my favorite. It's Oscar Mayer Classic Beef. You remember that commercial they had back in the 60s or 70s? It went something like this. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me. I'll tell you, I used to sing that when I was a kid, and I did like Oscar Mayer wieners. And something about being up here just makes them taste better. Our campsite today is number 5. And we happen to have a senior pass, so we come up here all the time. You notice the sign said no wood gathering, and there's a good reason for it. The mountains need all the compost material they can get. It's pretty poor soil up here, and the plants are struggling to survive. So there is no wood gathering up here to build your campfires and things. Just waiting for the hot dogs to cook. I got them boiling in water. Seem to make the most sense. We got some new poles at Walmart, or walking sticks, and we're going to try them out today because the terrain is pretty slippery. So here we go. We're off on our journey, and we have to hike down our road a bit to get to Baylor Canyon Trail, which is where we're heading. And my wife saw these beautiful flowers alongside the road, and I believe these flowers are called Indian blanket, if I'm not mistaken. And you could see the bees. The bees come around, a few of them every now and then to pollinate the flowers. Here's a good example. It's been many, many months since we've had any rain here, and I find it quite amazing that there would be any flowers up here at all. But nevertheless, here they are. They have a cattle guard before you get to the campground, and we had to cross this because we needed to get to the trail, and that keeps the cows out of the picnic area, which is a good idea. You're looking at an alligator pine. It's got its little berries, or alligator juniper, whatever you prefer, and it does have its little berries, and it smells a little bit like gin, actually. And this is the skunk brush berries, and they say they smell if you crush them, but I know the wildlife enjoys eating them, especially the deers, and I've even seen some coyotes eat them. They're used for a lot of purposes. I guess if you crush the skunk brush berries, that's a tongue twister, that you can actually, it's some type of a medicine. It can be used for medicine. And here's some of the different plants growing up here. I think this is a Spanish blade, but don't quote me on it. And we're still walking down the road, enjoying the view, and you can see the desert. That's White Sands Missile Base, White Sands, New Mexico. And you can see, you know, how sparse the vegetation is, and it's pretty much a desert. We haven't had rain up here now for many, many months. And this is called an Indian plume right here. And they're pretty much prolific out here. Indian plume. The seeds blow in the wind. There's another picnic area that we're going to be passing. You can use this for day picnicking, and the cost to picnic up here is $5. Or if you want to camp overnight, it's $7. But there is a fee that needs to be paid. And here's a beautiful flower. I have no idea what it's called. Come to think of it, my wife just told me that that was an Indian paintbrush, and it does look a little bit like a paintbrush. Here's a horse corral. You can ride your horses up and down these trails. They'll let you do it. but I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you like your horse, because it's pretty slippery. The trails are slippery, and I've not seen anybody ride a horse up here since I've been here, and no one's used these stables, but they're here if you want to give them a try. Of course, they don't want you to have any fires because we're under extreme fire watch right now. As a matter of fact, there's a fire going on up near Ruidoso, and it's burnt 200 homes already. Now here's a plant I don't particularly know what it's called, but there's a great big old bee in there, a big old black bee, and I don't want to mess with it. It looks pretty mean. I'm afraid I might get bit. But here's a skink. We saw a skink up there by the horse corral, and or I should say the horse stable, and he didn't know that we were actually watching him. But my wife got this video. She shot this video. I got to give her credit, and that is an interesting animal. I noticed it sticks its tongue out so it can taste the air. Unlike a lot of the other lizards we have up here, this is called a skink. There's a fellow going up to the campgrounds, and there's a look about where we're going. We're going to be heading up the trail in this general area. It's Baylor Pass National Recreation Trail, 6 miles one way, and I believe them. But if you get a park, it's $5 per vehicle. Day use only, of course. No place to camp up there on the trail, and they recommend you sign in before you go up there, because there's a lot of critters up there that can hurt you. Rattlesnakes, cougars. We do have some cougars up here, and of course they want you to pick up after your pet. But I think the biggest danger up here is slipping and falling. We've seen one rattlesnake since we've been up here. They're not that many, but we're hiking up the trail. It's not a bad trail and not too hard to hike, but it's good to have a walking stick because there are parts that get slippery. Here's another shot of an alligator juniper. And my wife coming up the trail, just starting out the trailhead. She liked her walking stick as much as me. It says Baylor Pass 2 miles, so it's a little bit confusing. I think it's 2 miles up to where there's a little bench. It's underneath one of those pine trees. And here's the view as you go along the trail, different things. This is the first time we noticed this. This is a little outcropping. It's like a little cave back in there. And there's a trail going down to it. We decided not to take the trail because it looked steep and slippery. Here's our gear set up, just a simple backpack. Be sure and carry lots of water when you're up here, and a walking stick. Lots of alligator pines up here, and they're not really that big. Very few get to be old and big. Here's a prickly pear cactus, and they can stick you pretty good. Here's a cholla cactus. These cholla cactus have purple blooms on them when they bloom, and this one's not quite ready to bloom, but it should be blooming soon, especially if we get some rain. It seems to be easier to go up the trail than it does down the trail. It takes more muscles to go up the trail, but it's slipperier going down the trail. And that's where the poles come in at. We only have one pole because we're holding the camera in our other hand. This tree looks like it was struck by lightning at one time or another. So you can see how it gets a little bit steep in places.
Welcome to the bench at the top.
Yeah.
2 miles it says.
Is it?
Yeah, you're where you're at right now.
We're 2 miles up the trail on Baylor Canyon. Baylor Canyon Trail on the east side of the Oregon Mountains. And I just walked off my hot dogs. I had 4 of them.
It says 2 miles.
Yeah, 2 miles, huh?
Yes.
It doesn't seem that far, but I
It's 2
believe
miles.
it's worth it.
2 miles down. Well, we need to exercise. We
yeah.
need to exercise.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's good to get out because it's been really windy lately. And this is probably the last day where it won't be super windy.
How's your new walking stick working for you?
I love it. I really like my walking stick. It makes a big difference for me. It makes me feel more secure. I can I go places that I wouldn't normally go because I know how slippery it is up here.
Let me see the tip of that.
It's a tungsten tip, and the little basket on it's good for pushing down the weeds and branches, so you can get across, because there's a lot of things out here that'll stick you, and if you can push them down and walk over them, it's good. Well, we made it up here to this bench, and it's one of the bigger alligator junipers or pines up here, and provides shade for the sitting area. And that means we hiked about 2 miles to get here. There's White Sands Missile Base again, and the beautiful view overlooking the desert. Looks like this plant's getting ready to bloom. And here's a bird. My wife couldn't help it. She wanted to get a close-up of this bird. Steady hands. This is up at the top at about the 2 mile mark. It's an unusual rock outcropping that I just couldn't resist. I had to investigate. Looks like it's been polished pretty smooth with erosion and water over the years, over the millennia. And we're going to continue up the trail a ways. We came across this tree. It looked like it had a fire in it at one time. But I like the textures of the tree, the bark. I shouldn't say the bark, but the wood. The wood has some interesting textures in it. And she spotted a dove. My wife's very good at camera work. She holds the camera very steady. These mountains here are of a volcanic origin, meaning they were at once extinct volcanoes. And here's the skunk brush again. And we're on our way down. Now you can see it's steep and quite slippery. We have fallen on trails like this, which is the reason we bought the poles. It does make a difference.
wild holly over here.
We thought this plant was unusual because it actually looked like a holly plant. But I'm not sure if it's a holly plant or not. Anyhow, we're back down the trail. It's quite a hike. Enjoyed it. You know, makes you feel alive. Going up and down these trails, you feel alive. And I'll probably sleep better tonight, just having the exercise. And I don't know how I got along without these walking sticks. I only have one, I don't need two because I hold a camera. But I think a walking stick is a necessity for me. And I really enjoyed the walk. Had a great day. And we're on our way back to the picnic area. Here's my little Honda. It's a 76 Honda Civic. Still runs and looks good. This is our washing station. This is where we wash our hands. And we're going to have us a cup of coffee. It's instant coffee. This is a no-hassle day. Hot dogs for lunch and coffee and crackers for a snack after the hike. We wanted to keep it simple. We got a late start today, so it was starting to get dark. But we brought some birdseed up here, and we saw this little dove. So we threw it out on the ground, and sure enough, the little dove was tame enough to come up and eat the birdseed. We really enjoyed watching him. We think it's kind of a baby dove. It's not a full-grown dove. Not afraid of people yet, which is good, and I'm glad we were able to give him seeds. And here's a shot of the moon. Looks like a crescent moon. And here's a beautiful sunset from our picnic area. Now you're looking east right now, you're not looking west. And that's the way the skies look. So you're not actually staring into the sunset. This is the way it looks when viewed from the east after the sun is set over the mountains. Looks like everything's packed up and we're getting ready to go. This is a good car for the times we live in. It's very fuel efficient. And here's the sunset after we went over the top of the mountain pass. Coming out of the picnic area, you turn left on Highway 70 going west, and then you cross the pass, and this is the view that you get during the sunset. And you're looking at the sunset as it sets over the Gila wilderness. I would say that would be my best guess.